There was an economist at the Roosevelt Institute. He estimated that 32,000 people could die if the bill is repealed and they don't have that coverage. 32,000 every single year. Do you think that those who are supporting repeal or who are going to vote for repeal should have some moral responsibility for any loss of life or people who get sick who can't get care?
Every lawmaker has to understand that there's human consequence to everything that we do up here. We don't do things in the abstract. Now maybe we argue politically in the abstract and such, but we have to figure what happens at the end of the day with that piece of legislation or the budget. That is a real issue, and sometimes we just get carried away with our, some sort of a partisan goal, and you forget what you're talking about or the daily lives of millions of Americans. The fact that 32,000 could not receive care and die, people will tell me, "Oh, Charlie, that's not true. All they have to do is go down to the county hospital." Now I'm going to tell you something about the county hospital, which is the most wonderful thing that's ever happened in many ways, but it is the most inefficient way to provide health services to a community, number one. Number two, you don't like government-run and controlled health care. What do you think the community hospital is? It's 100% funded, in essence, through tax dollars. Now, you hope that insurance companies are going to pay, but mostly you do have indigent care, uncompensated care, and so on. So it's this whole thing can be a real contradiction. But I think you pointed out something that's very important. There is human consequence to everything that we do. And 32,000 people in a country of over 300 million, you may say, well, that's until it's your family, until it's your grandparent or your parent or your brother or you. And believe me, there are many people that don't receive timely care, diagnosis, and treatment, and that do die. I happen to know them. I've attended the funerals. And you would say, but gosh, she was a really intelligent, vibrant, robust person. What do you mean she didn't have insurance? What do you mean she couldn't get that kind of cancer treatment? And her name was Bonnie Terry, and people want to, search and Google Bonnie Terry, and that was a real tragedy. So I really felt when we passed this bill that we wouldn't have situations like Bonnie faced with her cancer a few years ago, and she did die.
Stories. There was an economist at the Roosevelt Institute who estimated that 32,000 people could lose their lives every year if the bill is repealed. Do you think that people who support repeal, who would vote for repeal, have a moral responsibility when they take that vote for any lives that are lost as a result of repealing the bill?
Well, the United States already, more than any other of the so-called rich countries in the world, has more preventable deaths because of lack of insurance. And to use the word moral is absolutely correct. At bottom, I think this is a moral issue. Every other industrialized nation has made a moral decision that people will not die for lack of health insurance, they will not go bankrupt for lack of health insurance, their lives will not be destroyed because they don't have access to health care. And so I think that has to be a consideration. I think, this is probably not the time to say that blood is on your hands kind of thing, but I think people do have to consider consequences of taking health care accessibility away from people. That some people, 32,000 it's estimated, will die because of that.